Hi, I'm Austin.
I'm Alex,
You're listening to One Last Breath, an autopsy of awful albums.
where we discuss controversial, bizarre, divisive, and downright abysmal albums.
This episode, we're going to be talking about the debut studio album, You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter, by experimental metalcore, post-hardcore, mathcore band I Set My Friends on Fire. They really did every crabcore. They're just
Yeah,
crabcore.
yeah. I mean, that kind of encompasses that genre encompasses all those influences.
Yeah, and was one of the biggest genres for a minute if you were a scene kid. Formed in 2007, originally as a duo by friends Matt Mehana on lead vocals and Nabil Moo on guitars, bass, keyboard, synth, and drums.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't know that before. When I was looking this shit up, I was like, "What the fuck? This dude literally did vocals, and Nabil Moo did literally everything else." Like,
It's like it's like if the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl just like hired a guy to sing.
Yeah,
because Dave Grohl. Okay,
yeah,
we're not talking
the
about
first two
fucking
albums.
Dave Grohl. Both previously played in a local band, We Are the Cavalry. It is assumed that the name I Set My Friends on Fire was derived from the Aiden song of the same name. The band, however, claimed they were unaware of the song at the time, and Mahana, whatever, expressed dismay over the assumption, stating that Aiden sucks.
I thought that was hilarious.
Aiden is not a band I care that much about.
They're one of those bands that I just know by name. Like I couldn't tell you an actual.
I've heard that the band name is just a reference to STDs.
I can see that.
They even say that on this is part of this album that kind of talks about that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The duo quickly gained traction on MySpace with their cover of at the time culture phenomenon "Crank That" by Soulja Boy. Received over 1 million plays on the site, causing MySpace to remove the duo's page 3 separate times because they believed software was being used to increase the streaming count. Which, yeah, I mean, in that time, MySpace, like, you didn't get 1 million views on anything in 2007.
Yeah, and I mean, people did. I'm pretty sure people did that. Like, they would make bot accounts and shit like that. I mean,
but I think that they legitimately got 1 million views on Crank That.
I can see that.
Before releasing their first album, they released a self-titled EP featuring Crank That, ASL, and Beauties in the Eye of the Beer Holder, all of which ended up on this album. The duo then were signed to Epitaph to release this album, You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter. It was released in October of 2008. It was universally panned by critics. Multiple outlets gave it a star or less. In a half-star review by Nate Adams of Slant Magazine, he states, "I don't want to suggest that all grindcore and screamo records are terrible. Like any other genre, there exists the good, the average, and the bad, but the bad is just plain bad. The music aims for brutality and melody, but misses the mark entirely on both counts. The programmed drums give the songs no bottom, and the shrill screams of lead singer Matt Mehana." You spelled it differently every fucking time in the script.
Do I?
Yeah, it's spelled differently every time.
I think it's like Mahina.
Mahana sounds more like a genre parody than actual singing. "This is what a Treyu would sound like if one were to remove all the musicianship, songwriting, sensibility, and vocal range." Okay, boomer.
Pretty scathing review for a boomer.
It is important to mention that metalheads, metal elitists, and most metalcore fans hated crabcore.
Yeah,
like this shit was seen as the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it was funny going back and looking at. It might have been that it was one of their like really scathing reviews, and seeing the comments on it that were all from like when this album came out, people were fucking brutal.
People hated crabcore.
I mean, they were like,
which is funny because I'll get into this a little bit later. I think crabcore is the most important part of the scene kid movement.
Yeah, I would maybe agree with that. But yeah, it was like all these people were like, oh my god, what the fuck? Why did Epitaph sign these losers? Like, holy shit, fucking fuck these kids, like just so bitter about it. It's like, why does it matter? And like saying like, oh, the fans of this don't know real music. They're just little teeny bopper kids. They don't know shit about real metal. This shit is never gonna like sustain popularity. Like,
I mean, I think a lot of that was because, I mean, we'll get into it later, but this is like the first album to use hip hop elements outside of like rap metal in metal.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the first notable one, at least, other than like rap metal stuff and new metal stuff. Like outside of new metal, like hip hop elements were not in metal.
but this is like an entirely different type of incorporating rap into metal than new metal is, for sure.
Yeah. And another half-star review by alternative press reviewer Phil Freeman. I've read some of his reviews, and he never seems to be right. He concludes the album truly fails because it has exactly 0 memorable moments. Not all reviews were negative; some were mixed, including a 3.5 star, 3.5, 3 out of 5. I can read. 3 out of 5 star review by Logan Broger. I almost said Logan Brogan. Logan Broger of Chart Attack.
Logan Brogan, Hulk Hogan.
Where he says, the grind electro hardcore pop duo aren't being obnoxious or comedic. There are some tunes that are actually really, really brilliant. And the only truly positive professional review that we could find. James Shotwell of Under the Gun Review gave it a 7 out of 10. I Set My Friends on Fire are bound to be hated by musical elitists for their synth-laden, hardcore, ridiculous lyrics and backstory, but it's all these elements that will also win over an entire different generation of music. It's good to know there's still bands out there that don't take it all too seriously and really have fun with what they're doing. It's apparent they just want to make you dance and smile, and in this case, they won me over entirely. Now, there's some parts on You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter that get a little bit old, a little bit fast. But for a debut from a band who gained fame on a hip-hop cover, this is sure to wow more than a few people. Yeah, and that's more what I think when I think back to Ism Foff.
Yeah, that's a really good review. Well,
band could see the future.
Yeah, I mean, for real, what he said about winning over an entire new generation, I mean, he was right.
Yeah, because like this is the album that kind of killed emo as the forefront alternative style. Mm-hmm. Because of this album, Scene Kids were like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and then we just,
some other stuff.
Sunday Came Suddenly by Attack Attack.
And then the next year we had Ask Alexandria. Devil Wears Prada had their first album like 2006. I think their big album. So like there were some other albums around this time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'd say the biggest two definitely were this and Sunday Came Suddenly, which both came out in 2008.
Although the album was vastly panned by virtually every critic and ridiculed by all the metal elitists on the internet, this album has ultimately become one of the most influential albums for the crabcore movement of the late 2000s, early 2010s, like we've mentioned. It's unique, if sometimes uneven blend of metalcore, post-hardcore, electronicore, crunk-core, etc., everything.
Yeah.
All the cores.
All the cores.
Opened the doors for tons of bands that followed in their footsteps, along with helping to influence the recent wave of emo and metal-influenced alternative rap. This album influenced if you were into scene music, this album influenced every musician you listened to, except for maybe Asking Alexandria. Mm-hmm. Their album came out a little faster to have been really influenced by them. So after this album, Ism Foff released one more studio album, Astral Projection, in June of 2011. The original recording of the album was intended to be released in 2010, but Epitaph wasn't pleased with the recording, which featured no autotune and a lack of electronic elements. The scrapping of the album caused Nabil Moo to leave the band, and the album was re-recorded with Chris Lint, formerly of From First to Last, taking over all instrumental duties.
Yeah, this dude's like, fuck playing instruments. I'm just gonna recruit people to just play
he just refuses to learn how to make music. He just wants to scream. Good for him.
But I'm not a musician.
The album fared no better with critics. Oh, that was weird. The album fared no better with critics. A third album by the band was announced in 2015 as Matt Mahena recruited members of The Bunny the Bear and embarked on the band's first tour in over 3 years. The third LP, titled Caterpillar Sex, was planned to be released in July of 2017, with single The Vision and Scarlet Witch being released in June of that year, but the album has never seen a release, and the band has made no official statement on the matter. The single My Uzi Holds a 100-Round Conscience was released in 2017, intended to be from their fourth studio album, which has also never seen a release. How do you know a fourth studio album if you've never had a third one?
Yeah, no, I thought that was bizarre. We'll just announce a fourth studio album without even releasing the one we announced like 5 years ago.
Since then, the band has dropped at least one new thing every year. The single Don't Take Me for Pomegranate, featuring Young Lotus in 2018. The single Versace Tamagotchi, and the original version of Astral Rejection in 2019. Single Too Short's Breath in 2 Minute Days. Single Too Short Breaths in 2-Minute Days. An EP online now in 2020. Single Addictions in 2021. Single Existence Is, You're on Your Own in 2022. And the last single that they released was Pure Evil with Buried Alive earlier this year in 2023. You put band Buried Alive? I think Buried Alive is just a guitarist. I'm not sure.
I thought it was two people.
Is it? Whenever I see
people.
Buried Alive, I think of the guitarist from Buried Alive. It may be two people.
Yeah.
But Buried Alive is sick.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
And Buried Alive, you can tell that they were definitely heavily influenced by Ismfoff.
Yeah.
Because they also have that really experimental metal outlook.
And so was Young Lotus, who was on two of their other songs. Like, he's part of that emo...
The emo rap that is, like, obviously super inspired by the Scene Kid movement.
Yeah.
I keep saying movement. Like, it's not really a movement. It's just a bunch of kids started dressing like dorks and went to Warped Tour.
There was no Woodstock for this movement.
There was. It's called Warped Tour.
I mean, yeah, but there wasn't a single Warped Tour that was, like, the end of the movement.
Yeah, there was.
How Woodstock was kind of the...
Warped Tour.
I mean, I guess, but...
All I'm saying is there were a lot of Woodstocks if you were a Scene Kid.
I mean, yeah, that's very true.
First thoughts?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've listened to this album, but I think I was expecting to like it overall more than I did, which I didn't hate it at all. Like in no sense of the word that I dislike it. I just felt like a lot of the songs, for the most part, were really just average, I guess.
That's
like
fair.
I kind of agree to a certain extent of what that one review said about there being no memorable moments, which, like I said, there are in some songs, but there's only about 4 songs that stand out to me, and then the rest are just kind of blend together for me. So
I'm on the other side of the coin. I listen to this album all the time. Before listening to it for the podcast, my last re-listen was like 4 months ago or something. I go back to this album a lot. I really enjoy this album, and I really enjoyed Astral Projections, like the one that they released first. I got that on vinyl somewhere.
Oh yeah, you do have that. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I really like Ismfoff, and I think that this is the most influential album of crabcore, of one of the most influential metal albums of the late 2000s. Personally, I love every song on it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the songs that I enjoy, I really enjoy, but the rest is just kind of take it or leave it for me. Like, there's only one song that I absolutely hate on this album, then about 3 that I love, and then the rest is just kind of for me.
I love every song on this album. I think there are a couple that are just like, they're just there because of the time period they came out. But let's go into the track by track. Shit, it talks. I'm out of here. This is just a skit.
Yeah, it's pretty funny though.
Yeah, it's a really funny skit, and it really sets the stage for like, oh, you're getting a hip hop influenced album here. Yeah,
and it also really is that like RAR XD and Invader Zim type of humor that's very in line with.
Which, I mean, I'm sure everyone listening to this is old enough to remember that, but just in case you aren't, or you're too old to know about all of this, rap had a lot of skits.
Yeah.
In the mid to late 2000s.
And there would be like fucking 7 or 8 on an album sometimes.
Yeah, and MySpace really loved the lol random.
Yeah,
humor.
just random shit. That's pretty much what this is. It kind of puts you under the guise that this album was recorded on another planet, which
it's a live album from the planet Glump.
Oh god, not that planet. Oh hell no, I smoked that shit. Now I'm on Glump. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of like how they did that. Like, have the alien say, "Oh, there's no shit talkers on my planet. Will you come perform on it?" And they're like, "Hell yeah, let's go!"
Let's go.
And then it sounds like they're on a spaceship, and then the first song starts. So I mean, it kind of makes sense with the way that this is just a random mismatch of genres that's had never been done before, really, at this point. So it makes sense that this is
also, on. Well, they were also booed off stage at the beginning of the skit.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, Mahanahan was, I think. Whatever his name is.
Mahina.
Mm-hmm. Was that Nabil Moo, right?
Yeah.
Nabil everyone was like, "We love you, Nabil."
Oh, okay, yeah. And then, I mean, my man's did every single instrument.
He is the band.
Which, by the way, do you know which one is which vocalist?
I have no idea.
Because one of them only does the low, like, really kind of funny, funny harsh vocals where he's just like, "Urgh." Like it sounds like
I'm
a
assuming
thwomp or something.
I'm assuming that's Nabil, the guy that
Really?
did all the music. Because I'm assuming the other guy wouldn't be in the band if they
that's
didn't
all
need the
he did.
vocals from him. Yeah.
So you think that
I think-
Mahina did the clean vocals and
Also,
the
he's
high
the one
pitch?
that stayed, and in the new stuff, it still sounds like old stuff, kind of.
Okay.
So I think he was the main vocalist, or else
Okay.
there would be no reason for it to be a two-person band. I mean, like, yeah, they're friends, but like,
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, because
they're not
why
gonna
would you have?
Epitaph isn't going to sign you as part of a band if all you do is go. "Urgh."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. So you think he did the clean vocals and the higher
And
pitch?
probably most of the harshes.
Yeah, like the higher harshes.
And
Okay,
he
that
even
makes
mentions,
sense.
"I love how you scream like meh," or whatever.
Yeah.
Brief interview with a hideous man. This starts off as like harsh vocals, but still rap.
Yeah, it's like kind of a boom clap beat in the background of it.
Yeah,
but-
it's really cool. It goes into a really heavy metal song. I think it's the perfect first track for the album. I
Mhm.
think it really sets you up for what first real track.
yeah,
I think it really sets you up for what to expect.
it's one of them that's decent for me. Like nothing special, but I mean, I like it. It's
Yeah.
decent, but yeah, I mean, it's short to the point. Has a pretty good breakdown, but I like the lyrics about it. They kind of address the internet trolls and haters that they were definitely getting a lot of at
Yeah,
this
there were
point.
getting so many haters. They couldn't see them through their hater blockers, though.
Yeah, they had their hater shades on. Always important.
Beauty is in the Eye of the Beer Holder, which showed up on their EP.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. This one, I really like this song. I think it introduces one of the most important things to this album,
Mhm.
which is the Family Guy style cutaways to ideas that don't make sense in the rest of the context of the song.
What is it for this one?
So they're like, it's like the heavy like, "Rah," and then suddenly just cuts away to like a piano going dun doo 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 doo.
Oh yeah, and then
And then it
does
just goes back into like what the other part of the song sounded like.
Mhm.
That's a really that's a big part of this album is they just like, and also this.
Yeah, they'll just throw something in there just to do it.
But yeah, I mean, that's a really important part of the album is the cutaways.
Mhm.
I think it's a good song. It's not my
Yeah.
favorite song on the album.
Yeah, I
these
mean-
first two songs are good. They're not my favorites.
Yeah, there are two that are just decent for me. But then we go to Things That Rhyme with Orange, which
The most well-known original on this album, I would argue.
I mean it is like
Yeah.
I looked. It's by far their most streamed song on Spotify with over 12 million streams.
Which is weird that their cover isn't more. But I guess people forgot about Soulja Boy.
Yeah, but which actually the second most streamed song is Ravenous Rhinos with just 4 million.
I love that song.
So this has a whole 8 million more
I mean,
streams.
it's a really big. I think it was in a few compilation. I think it was in the Epitaph compilation. Because Epitaph, like record companies used to send out compilation albums
Yeah.
with like other CDs. You'd buy the CD, then you get like a 4 or 5 track compilation album. And I think Things That Rhyme with Orange was probably on that.
Probably.
I think it was also the single.
I mean, I think it's the best it's the song that most hones in all their
Yeah, it shows
their styles,
everything
yeah.
they do. It has it shows off like the really unique way they switched vocals. It goes
Mhm.
from like harshes to cleans to lows to highs to gang vocals, all within the course of a single line.
yeah,
sometimes.
and then it has like the hip hop beats in the back, the keyboards, the auto tuned choruses. Like it pretty much has everything that works for them, I would say.
Yeah,
but
and also the lyrics to this song are kind of like they're a perfect parallel to the music, like the musicality of it.
Mhm.
Because they're also like the music is obviously not fitting into any one
Yeah.
space, and the whole song is about like where do I belong? Like what scene do I belong to?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, and this is also the only song on the album that repeats. Well, I mean, besides "Crank That," that repeats the chorus.
Huh?
Like, yeah,
I didn't even recognize that.
I think that's a big thing for me with the other songs is it doesn't repeat anything, so it's hard for and it's like I said, it's not that I hate it, it's just nothing that I would go back to because there's nothing for me to
Yeah.
really hold on to
And
for
I
a lot
think
of it.
I think that's an idea they kind of stole from grindcore.
Yeah, just doing
Just like the song is just idea after idea after idea, and we just fucking move on.
Yeah, but I mean that makes it the most memorable song just because it is the most traditional song structure that this band really has.
Yeah, they'll probably ever have done.
Yeah, which I mean I don't mind songs that don't follow traditional structures, like a lot of jazz fusion, prog, mathcore, extreme metal, like a lot of stuff that I listen to.
A lot of them
doesn't
will
do
still
that.
have a chorus. Though.
Yeah,
like not having a chorus is like really just I Set My Friends on Fire and grindcore.
Yeah, so it's like I like stuff that doesn't have. I don't mind it too much, but I feel like their unique blending of styles lends itself to having a repeated chorus and more of a traditional song
I think they went more to that on Astral Projection.
Okay, yeah.
Astral Projection is also more hip hop from what I remember.
Okay, I don't think I've ever listened to it.
It's been a while.
I think there's one or two songs that I know from it, but I don't think I've ever.
But as far as I remember, it's more hip hop and it's more traditional song structure-y. ASL, it's the most just like metalcore song.
Yeah, it's
just metalcore.
Yeah, it's alright.
It has a really funny part where they kind of make fun of like the high number of Brits in metalcore at the time, because like everybody in metalcore at the time was like British.
Yeah,
like Welsh.
Yeah,
so
it is like, funny.
Over the top accent. It's all going to be okay.
Yeah, that was another thing where they just randomly throw something in just to do it.
Yeah, it's another fucking cut, but it's really funny.
Yeah, and then the part was also funny, or just kind of bizarre, where it has him just whichever one it is just talking about wanting to kill somebody, and it's like very sped up. You know that part?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I want to kill you when I don't even know what the fuck he says. It's just like him talking with 4 times speed about wanting to murder somebody.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is very weird.
Interlude, just hip hop beat.
Yeah, I would say this is a pretty kind of a pointless interlude for me, because I feel like the best interludes, obviously, which I mean, this one isn't about the middle of the album, so you would expect it to maybe introduce something that'll kind of break up the album. Like, I feel like that's what the best interludes do, is they'll be in the middle and they'll make the first side and the second side, you know, they'll kind of go in different directions.
Yeah, and it just doesn't.
Yeah, it just doesn't really, kind of pointless for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like it as a song. I don't know, that didn't have to be on the album.
Yeah, exactly. Or it could have just been the end of a song.
They could have sold that to a rapper.
Yeah, it could have just been an intro or an end to any other track.
Yeah, Ravenous Rhinos. This is my favorite song on the album.
Okay.
The discordant intro into them screaming "What the fuck."
That's definitely memorable.
And just normal metal, and then it goes into the create, connize, and recognize, like electronic breakdown that just hits right. Yeah,
the lyrics in this song are really weird. Like, I feel like they're just saying a bunch of obscure large words just to say them.
I think My Friends on Fire's lyrics are kind of just like, "Oops, all John mess."
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it makes sense, because I feel like that was a big thing for emo and scene kids at the time, just to...
It's random.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole... Like, that was a big basis of the whole scene kid aesthetic, was, look how random I am.
Yeah, like, I'm just gonna say this word that I don't actually know the meaning for, just to say it.
Holds up spork.
Yeah, that's... But... Yeah, that's kind of just what the lyrics are in the song. They were weird. I was reading them and I was like, I don't even understand what this...
I didn't even look up the lyrics. I don't need to know the lyrics for I Set My Friends on Fire.
I was like, I don't understand. Like, at least all the other songs, like, have a theme to it. I was like, I don't understand, like, what the fuck does create, cognize, and recognize? Like, what are they talking about? I don't really know.
Is connize even a word?
Cognize? Is it connize or cognize?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Either way, yeah, it's kind of a...
I think it's connize, because I think it's like recognize is supposed to like recognize or something. I don't know. It's a good song. Hardcore two-step.
This is the song I fucking hate on this album.
I love this song.
It's so bad.
I love this song so much. I remember going to dances in like middle school, like right around the time that this song came out, and like this wouldn't play, but there were so many other line dance songs. Like line dancing was such a big part of hip hop at that point.
Yeah, and this is like the hardcore two-step.
This is why I can two-step
to this song.
This song, like knowing this song, I'm like, oh, I just do this. I take my right foot down, swing the left foot around. Put my foot up. Bring it. Whatever they say. Like, it just teaches you how to two-step.
Yeah.
Hardcore two-step.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to combine actual hardcore two-stepping with, like, crunk.
Yeah,
like crunk line. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's just the lyrics and shit.
I think it's a good parody. I think it's parody.
Yeah, I guess it could be. Which, I mean, they were fucking 18, if even, whenever they made this or wrote this, so... But I mean, if the whole rest of the album were like this song, I could definitely understand critics what they said about it.
I like the song.
But I'm glad that it was held to, which I mean, the Crank That cover's on here, but it's already of an actual already established song.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There are 2 line dances that you can do this album.
That's too many.
That's the most I can think of for any metal album.
That one Napalm Death. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, the You Suffer line dance.
Yeah, the famous.
It's just a whip into falling to the ground.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough time in that song to do any two-part dance to.
This next song is what I would think is the most forgettable song on the album for me. It's WTF WJD, which I'm assuming is What the Fuck Would Jesus Do?
That's what I assumed as well, which I like that title. That's funny. Yeah, it's yet another one for me that's just kind of...
It's the only one I would call forgettable personally. It's got some cool synth in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has a really cool, like a crunk synth part under one of the breakdowns that I really liked.
I think all the breakdowns on this album are, like, perfect for what they are.
Yeah, all the breakdowns are good. Like, I feel like every song has a good breakdown or a good, like, gang vocal part or something, but... Like I was saying, other than things that rhyme with orange, there's nothing that has repeat parts that make it become memorable for me.
Yeah, so. Hardcore two-step repeats a lot.
Well, I guess that's the only other one. But I guess you're right on that one. But yeah, I mean, nothing really sticks out besides that crunk part on the breakdown for me.
Yeah.
I really like that part.
Then we get into the cover, Crank That, which, like we said, is a song that got them their fame. Also, the breakdown makes me want to just kill somebody. I
mean, it is a pretty heavy breakdown.
It goes stupid.
It does. It go crazy.
I want to relearn the Soulja Boy dance just to do it to this song and kill people in the middle of the breakdown. Just like do the Soulja Boy and then start crowd killing.
But yeah, this is probably the first song I remember hearing about them besides Sex Ed Rocks.
Yeah, Sex Ed Rocks is definitely the first one I remember hearing.
Just because we were obsessed with Smosh.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think this was the first one I heard, and I was like, what the fuck?
It's weird how young we were listening to this music, though.
Yeah, it is pretty weird. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it was pretty ahead of its time. Like this cover, that was
I think the whole album was really ahead of its time.
I mean, yeah, but especially since this cover. Yeah, this was released, I guess, a year before the album, I think, on MySpace.
So it would have been released in 2007?
Mm-hmm.
Crank That came out in what, 2006?
2006, yeah.
Yeah, like they bumped this cover out pretty quick and did an amazing job at it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the original version is any different from the album version.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't even think to go look for it until just now, but
I feel like it probably just other than production. I feel
it might just be where maybe the breakdown's not as cool.
Maybe. I don't know. We need to listen to it, but yeah, I mean, doing I guess it's just straight up rap cover, but they're screaming at first, but then like adding a breakdown, like an original breakdown to a rap song. Like I feel like this is probably the first time that had ever been done.
Ice-T could never.
Who?
Ice-T. Body Count.
Oh, I thought you said Ice Key. I was like, who the fuck is that?
Ice-T, because he had Body Count. I think Body Count had those breakdowns.
Yeah, but
I've never listened to Body Count to know if he raps or sings or screams or what.
I think it's both, cool. Like rapping and singing, but it definitely hadn't been done to this degree. I mean, there was like Punk Goes Pop and shit before this, but
I think this was really
the first Punk Goes Pop came out in like 2004, I want to say, or 2002.
I guess I'm just used to like the later Pop Goes Punk, where it was like obviously post Scene Kit as an established subculture.
Because I think the fourth one came out in like 2011. Like they were already like 4 deep. Because that was the first one I remember listening to that I was like aware of.
See, I know the fifth one came out in 2013 or something. So yeah, I guess they would have started early. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, none of those really had.
I don't think Punk Goes Crunk was out yet.
That came out. Yeah, that might have came out in 08, 07, 08.
So it was this and Punk Goes Crunk were your only options.
Yeah.
And we all know which one is better.
I mean, the Still Fly cover by
Punk
Devil
Goes
Wears
Crunk
Prada.
has 2 good covers on it.
Still Fly
And I Wish by Ski. The Skilo cover. Yeah, I wish I was a little bit tall. I don't remember who does it.
Oh, and fucking I like All Time Low doing Umbrella.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not Umbrella's on a crunk song.
Yeah,
So,
that was a dumb inclusion.
Yeah, it's literally just a pop song. It could have been on Pop Goes Punk.
It was probably actually
Pop.
just a cut track from one of the Punk Goes Pops, and you're like, fuck it.
It could have been, but I like that cover. But
the nuns are watching.
This is one of the 4 that I really like.
This
like
is
I
a
really
song
like this song.
Until I actually sat down and focused on the album, I thought it was a fine song. I thought it was a good song still.
Mm-hmm.
But listening to it, this is. I don't know if I Wrestled a Bear Once was doing anything by the time this album came out, but if not, this is really I Wrestled a Bear Once sounding math rock, which is not what you expect from regular crabcore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that might be why I like it, because it has that heavy, chaotic, which I mean, I guess the album before did, but I don't know, it was just done better in this one for me. And it had a really Nintendo core synth style,
really glitchy synth.
Yeah,
it was so cool.
Yeah, I really like this one. Like I said, one of the 3 or 4 songs on this album that I really like, and that I'll go back to for sure.
And then the final song in the album, Reese's Pieces. I don't know who John Cleese is. Sorry,
Do you say Reese's Pieces?
I say Reese's Pieces.
I say Reese's Pieces. I seen something recently where people were.
You don't rhyme it. Gross.
Well, I don't know. Is it? I saw something recently where people were saying of course it's Reese's, but then you have to say pieces. So
I mean, that's just also how I say pieces.
I mean, I don't think anybody says pieces.
I
mean, some people do.
I'm sure they say it weird.
Some people do change the way they say pieces to say Reese's Pieces. But I say Reese's Pieces, but I don't know. It looks like it says.
I say Reese's Pieces.
I don't know. Reese's doesn't sound
also,
right to me.
Who the fuck is John Cleese?
I don't know, actually.
Cool.
I don't know why I didn't look that up. I guess we are in their boat. We don't know who John Cleese is.
We both were so the other person will look up who John Cleese is.
Yeah, I guess we were.
Let's see. I just looked up John Cleese. He did. Oh, he's from Monty Python.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he was at least in the Monty Python movies. He's also in A Fish Called Wanda.
Now, let me see a picture of him.
This guy.
I don't know. I would probably need to see an older picture of him.
He is still alive. Wow.
Damn.
He was born in 39. He's 83 years old.
Damn.
Good for him.
Let's go, John Cleese.
He was nearly Headless Nick, and he was in the last 3 Shrek films.
The last 3 Shrek films? Did he play the dad or something?
No idea.
Fiona's dad?
No idea.
But either way, yeah, this song's really good.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect outro.
Yeah, it ends it on a really strong note. And it also kind of made me realize that another thing that made a lot of the other songs not really memorable for me is they were too short.
Yeah,
because this one's by far the longest
song.
song.
I think it's 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah,
which isn't long for a song, really.
Yeah, I mean that's a maybe slightly above average runtime for a song, but for this album, it is really long.
Also, crabcore is kind of just the next evolution of grindcore, and grindcore is known for short songs. They're obviously very grind influenced.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it being longer, because I mean that's another thing that I realized, that every song that was a standout for me was at least 3 minutes or longer, and then the ones that I was indifferent about were all under 3 minutes. Some even closer to under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think that was another big part of it for me, is they were over before there was anything that developed that I could really latch onto.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like the short songs. I like the long songs.
I mean, and it's like I said, I mean, I like short songs, but I don't know, just for their style, I feel like it needs more time to develop something.
I want to say that on their second album it was longer, but also it wasn't with the same guy, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe Nabil whatever his name is.
Nabil Moo.
Nabil Moo.
Nabil Moo. The Milk Boot.
The Lil Bill.
The Lil Bill.
Maybe he just liked writing shorter songs. Who knows?
I mean, maybe he was a bigger grind fan.
Yeah,
and then maybe the other guy was brought in the crunk influences. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows exactly what their influences were
a song
for this.
I wish was on this album.
It's
Sex Ed Rocks.
Yeah. That's a fucking banger.
That song's so good. I listen to that.
I mean, that's another song that has a repeating chorus, and like it works. Like I would say,
it's also like it's a comedy song.
Yeah, but it's fucking great. Like like it's not too over the top as hardcore two step is for me. And then it also has a thing with Things That Rhyme with Orange, where it has a repeating chorus and it kind of flows better. So and those are my two favorite songs by them. I would say is Things That Rhyme with Orange and Sex Ed Rocks. So like that formula works for me for their band. So.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the end of it. So what are your 3 favorite songs?
3 favorite songs. Probably definitely Things That Rhyme with Orange is up there. Right above that, I put hardcore two step and then Ravenous Rhinos. I really like hardcore two step.
Well, I got Things That Rhyme with Orange because the Nuns Are Watching and Reese's Pieces. Ravenous Rhinos almost made it for me, but it was just quite under my favorite. But yeah, I'd say other than those 4 songs, the rest is just kind of for me. I mean, the Crank That cover is fun to listen to, but
it's really nostalgic to listen to that cover.
Exactly.
I would put that as not the weakest song on the album, because the interlude's there. But the weakest real song on the album is the Crank That cover, I think.
Okay. I put hardcore two-step, obviously. I didn't even think about including the interlude, because it's just an interlude.
Yeah.
I mean.
The only song... I like every song. The only song that I would even call, like, my least favorite is the Soulja Boy cover.
Really? That's surprising, because you play it a lot.
I really like it.
I can't
also think it's the worst song on the album.
I can't count the times we've hung out and you've just been like, oh fuck yeah,
I'll just be at our local favorite bar and I'll be like, do I have Touch Tunes credits?
Yeah, you have done that.
Crank That by Soulja Boy, or Crank That by Ismfoff.
Yeah, fuck it. Do you got any specific lines that you wanted to point out? Any lyrics?
Really just the "We're all going to be okay."
You made it sound like Forrest Gump.
Jedi.
I got which I mean, this isn't even. Not all of these are bad. Like I feel like they've been for most of the episodes. But I got "Fuck That." I changed my fucking mind. Jesus loves you, so I don't have to. On "Beauty Is in the Eye of the Beholder."
Yeah,
I thought that one was.
There is one from Things That Rhyme with Orange that I forgot to write down.
Can I, as the wife of the podcast, just say that they have the line, "What is that paintbrush for? Are you preparing to draw me? No, wait, please don't. I'm afraid of what I'll see." And that is the most introspective shit. It's such a good line.
That's from Things That Rhyme with Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good one.
That was my wife, everybody.
Give it up for the wife of the podcast.
But there's that other part about the toilet seat.
In Things That Rhyme
with Orange. Yeah, it's like because every breakdown has like the I'm so random shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Okay, I found the exact lyrics.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Obscenity is a crutch for traffic drivers. If you need to Obscenity is a crutch for traffic drivers. If you need to use the restroom, just ask politely. I like the way I do it better than the way you're not. Lifting up the toilet seat was the way I was taught.
Yeah, I did catch that. I was like, okay, I don't really understand how this fits in. I got here's another raw so random moment. Auditory communication incorporated by these dang-fangled contraptions. That was from Ravenous Rhinos.
Also the best line on the album, hardcore two-step.
Oh gosh. And then I also like this one. Call me old-fashioned, but I think trains kick ass. From But the Nuns Are Watching.
It's so good. It's
like, I mean,
even if you don't like crunk-core, just read their fucking lyrics. It's so funny.
That was definitely our papa. He always, remember he had like fucking DVD collections.
Do you remember going to train conventions
with
him?
Exactly.
It was so funny.
The one, they would always have it at that
that was
place
really
at the
fun.
World's Fair Park.
This is right. I remember one year after the train convention, we stopped by Walgreens to get Silly Bands.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that's the most 2009 thing I've ever done.
Train conventions and silly bands, and I set my friends on fire.
That,
What more could you be?
that is proof that I am autistic. You cannot doubt me any longer.
Trains and silly bands. But yeah, I almost forgot about that till now. The train conventions and the DVDs of it was like 48 hours of train footage.
I don't even like trains that much.
I mean,
Those DVDs were pretty relaxing.
Yeah, they're kind of cool. And then I also got, also from But the Nuns Are Watching, will be like gay actors over and out having the kind of sex that sacrificial virgins fantasize about.
Good shit. Good shit.
Hey, okay.
Snaps.
And then, oh god, from Hardcore Two-Step, grow you like a Starbucks, you're on every block, keeping me up all night like that caffeine riding on my cock.
Oh, also from, I think it's from Hardcore Two-Step. Yeah, the intro to Hardcore Two-Step. I forgot about this. I alluded to this in the beginning. This sounds like the reaction your girlfriend makes when you just told her that you have an STD in bed.
Yeah.
I set my friends on fire, bitch. What?
Okay,
Yeah.
how you're talking about it, that's...
Yeah, so I think the name is just about having an STD, whether that's what they wanted in the beginning or if they retroactively did that.
Yeah. Either way. Okay, my last one is, bitch, I'll pull my jeans below my waist and give your tongue a sour, sour taste, not of this drink, but of my skeet. Also from Hardcore Two-Step.
Song's incredible.
He needs to drink more pineapple juice, I think. I don't know.
He should drink some water.
My sour, sour... That's... I don't know.
The man's diet is PBR and McDaniels.
McDangles. Yeah, so that's all I got. So on Rate Your Music, for user score, it has 2.6 out of 5 from 1,058 ratings. And then I couldn't find any, what's it called? Not conglomerate. When stuff is bunched together.
I was trying to think of the word.
Aggregate.
Aggregate.
Yeah, I couldn't find any aggregate critic scores, but I would assume it would probably be like a half star.
Let's see, we got a half star. We got 2 half-star reviews.
I think there was like 4 half-star reviews.
4 half-star reviews, a 3 out of 5, which is like a 6, and a 7 out of. So it's probably higher than the user score. It's probably like closer to like a 3.
Yeah, maybe, but either way, definitely not favorable at all. But
is that a 2 out of 5? Okay, so it'd be.
Yeah, 2.6 out of 5.
2.6 out of 5. So it'd probably be like a 1.5.
Yeah, so.
Okay. For some reason I was doing it out of 10.
So what would you rate it?
I'm gonna do it out of 10 because I fucking hate 5-star reviews.
Yeah,
I don't think there's enough nuance there.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's a 5.2 out of 10 is what they gave it. I think that's low. I would give it a 9. 9.5.
A 9?
9.5, actually.
Damn.
9.5.
High praises.
I think it is the most important album for Scene Kid. And, like, without Scene Kid shit, I wouldn't have heard, like, half the bands that I love.
Mm. I don't know. Like I said, if they had what my 3 favorite songs have for the whole album, I would probably...
You mean, like, lifting up the toilet seat?
Yeah. I would definitely give it probably a 9. I guess I give it a 5 out of 10. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of right in the middle with it, because there's only one song I absolutely hate.
I think
only
it's the only
3
one we haven't agreed on.
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Huh.
Interesting. I don't know, it's just for crabcore, I don't know, there's just way better stuff for me. Like,
yeah.
Someday Came Suddenly is
a
way better album.
I would argue that
than
Someday Came Suddenly.
Some Came Day Suddenly.
Some Came Day Suddenly. It's definitely a better album. I don't think it was as influential. I don't remember seeing
Really?
I remember seeing like Smokeahanas.
That's not on there. That's on
That's
the
on the next album. Yeah, like Smokeahanas.
Stick Stickly?
Stick Stickly. Yeah, there were more songs of this album that I think people talked about.
Really? I don't know. I would disagree.
Because it's really just Stick Stickly off Someday Came Suddenly that I remember people talking about back in the day.
I don't know. I listened to it all after I listened to this, and I think pretty much every song on that album is like amazing.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion,
it's a much better crabcore album.
Yeah,
it's not as experimental though.
Yeah, not as experimental, but I think it's done a lot better.
I think the experimentalness of this makes it more important.
I don't know. I think the influence, and then having like Attack spawning of Mice and Men and Beartooth.
Yeah, I mean Caleb Shomo and
Austin
Carlisle are more important than either of the guys from
Yeah, I don't know. I just think out of the two, it's better and more influential in my opinion. I think also just kind of for the fact that it's more straightforward, but it still has the crabcore elements. I don't know, like nobody else has really done anything exactly like I Set My Friends on Fire.
Um,
But there was
I
plenty
mean, also
of.
the Bear once came close.
I mean, yeah, I guess so, but there was plenty of Attack
Yeah.
knockoff bands for
I-
sure.
But I think like Crunk definitely was super inspired. Like crunk-core.
And then
Crabcore maybe not.
and then
but
all the
Crunk-
emo rappers and shit, they were definitely
Yeah.
influenced. But I mean, I don't
I think
listen,
they
I don't
influenced-
listen to any
I
of
think
that.
they both
so.
influenced a different side of the coin.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it's like all the Christian crabcore bands are kind of the best ones. Like
I've said it before on the internet. I'll say it again. I will say this every day of my life. Christian metalcore is the best music you will ever listen to. Period.
I mean, it's up there. Like Attack, August Burns Red. I mean, they're not crabcore, but they're still metalcore.
Like all
Fucking
Christian metalcore.
Devil Wears Prada.
It's so good. We Came as
there's-
Romans.
Yeah, We Came as Romans. Like,
For Today.
yeah, there's tons of examples of it, but yeah, I don't know. So
One day, get ready for my 3 million page book on Christian metalcore and why it is more important than Jesus.
I'm ready for it.
You can to pre-order a copy. Please send one copy of the Comic Zone CD to our PO box that we don't have yet.
No, we don't have.
So this is how I'm gonna get another breath.
I guess so. I guess a 5 out of 10 score is enough to.
I think I give it a breath.
I mean, it's definitely worth listening to. Like,
I think I date this album for a couple weeks.
you date it.
I don't think we get very far. I think she's a little too weird for me. I think we give it a good college try.
Okay. Yeah, she might say some questionable stuff.
She's gonna say something racist
okay.
by week 2, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's right. You're from 08."
You're from 08. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I would say it deserves a last breath.
I think that anybody who was a scene kid or even like around scene kids and just didn't hear this album for whatever reason, because I don't think this or Attack got what they really deserved. Like the early crabcore, like they were like big, and then suddenly Ask Alexandria came in and was like, nope, fuck you guys.
Yeah, and then of Mice and Men.
Danny Warschnott, bitch.
Yeah, and then
Austin Carlin of Mice and Men.
and then Beartooth came, like all that. I felt like the next wave right after this was when it really actually, and then shit like that started to actually get in the mainstream, like having albums on Billboard and shit like that.
So I think a lot of people who were into that music haven't heard this all the way through. If I only heard like the singles, same with Someday Came Suddenly. We're not talking about that album. We might though, because it had a fucking bad review by critics.
Yeah, not as bad.
Not as bad, but people didn't like it.
Yeah, especially Metal Elitist.
But as for now, I think listen to I Set My Friends on Fire, specifically this album, Cancel Sorrow Without Laughter. That's so much to fucking say.
Yeah, it is all I have to say.
But either way, we will see you next week with something completely different.
It might be another version of Crank That.
It is going to be another version of Crank That.
See you next week.